Hi everyone, I want to welcome you to my channel. Today or tonight, it's the end of the day, and I'm really tired today. Did a lot of weed pulling in the yard, so my body is both feeling good for having done some physical exertion, but also quite upset with me. So anyways, I thought before I retired to bed and a book, I would work a little bit on my reading journal. I am a little bit behind in getting my April stats spread completed. I have some ideas. I really want to use this foil washi set that I've had for a while and I haven't really used it yet. It's a butterfly theme. I have been rearing some in the wild, like I have milkweed plants out in my garden, and we've had a lot of monarch caterpillars and butterflies. So I thought this would be a really fun theme, an appropriate theme for this month's stat spread. I do have a book already finished for the month of April, so I need to get this done so I can then do that page spread. Before I do that though, I thought I would do a quick little flip through. So this, I am only 1/4 through this year's reading journal, and it is already a monster. So I did a flip through of these page spreads. I do need to update my contents. But I'll just very quickly, my star rating system, my reading goals. I'm definitely on track to meet this goal. I'm not. I need to get to my TBR shelf. I'm pretty sure I'll meet this goal as well. So the theme for my reading journal this year is kind of loosely a foresty, wooded kind of, as you can see from the front. I originally wanted to do Wheel of the Year, but I just felt like, I don't know, I just veered more towards woodland kind of stuff. So I still have a blank page for the setup. I don't know what I'm going to use that page for, but so far I've only DNF'd one book, and I'm pretty proud of that. So this is where I'm just recording all the books I have actually read, and when I start them, when I end. So here's where it starts with my monthly spread. So this was January, and for each month spread, I'm just putting how many books I read, different genres, and then my favorite book. I do want to add like a reading quote. I have a few reading quotes that I've curated, and I'm going to add them, so maybe put one up here. So my first book of the year was The Snow Child, and I hand drew the birch trees. Well, I hand drew most of this. So this is a sticker. This is a picture I printed out. Truly one of my favorite books of all time. I owned this copy for a while. A dear friend bought the book for me. But because it does have elements of losing a child, but this one had a stillborn. I had multiple miscarriages, and so I just wasn't in a space to read the book yet, but I did, and I absolutely loved it. I also read The Beautiful Mystery, which is one of the Inspector Gamache books. Here's the DNF one. I normally do 2 spreads for each book, but because I DNF'd that one, I just did my nonfiction book for January on 1 page. And this was The Age of Magical Overthinking. I still need to add my notes from these 3 topics. And then we go to February. So in February, I read 4 books. Oh, I guess I didn't really talk about I didn't even see my TBR. Where was that? Oh, right here. Here's my TBR. And these are all the books I own that I have not read yet. This does not include the books I own that I have read. And unfortunately, I've procured more books because I went to a library book sale with a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and I just couldn't help myself. So anyways, for January, again, well, I already said The Snow Child was my favorite. The genres I read were mystery, magical realism, which was The Snow Child, and then in nonfiction, it was psychology and self-help. All right. So February, I'm trying to kind of thread the wheel of the year into my reading journal by identifying what particular celebrations occur during that time. So for January, it was Yule. February, it is Imbolc. I think that's how you pronounce it. And again, you can kind of see the foresty theme here. So for Wuthering Heights, I read this, as probably many of you did when I was younger. And to celebrate the new Wuthering Heights movie that was coming out, my friend and I went to watch it. But before we watched it, we agreed we would both reread Wuthering Heights. And my thoughts for this one are a little bit private, so I have them inside here, tucked inside this little tuck spot. I used this quote by Isabella Linton. Treachery and violence are spears pointed at both ends. They wound those who resort to them worse than their enemies. And I don't know if anyone has read the book and watched the movie, the most recent movie. I will say Wuthering Heights is still my favorite classic novel. And I actually loved the movie. I know the movie was very different from the book. 2 characters in particular, Isabella being one of them. But I really, the acting was amazing. The content, might not be appropriate for some people, but I loved the movie. All right, also in February, I read another Armand Gamache book. I am obsessed with the series. I've been reading them over the last year and a half. So this one was How the Light Gets In. This was a really interesting one. I didn't rate it yet, but so basically I'm putting my ratings down in the corners. This one, this was the one that was really interesting because these books teach so much about the history of Canada, but this book focused on the quintuplets. I don't know if you're familiar. There were actual quintuplets born in Canada many years ago. They were the first living quintuplets, and so this particular book recreated that experience in a murder mystery. So I was gonna put something else here, but I couldn't really think what to put there. But for those of you that are not familiar with, so my book layouts, I try to replicate the book cover, but I like to create it. That's part of what I love about my reading journal. I don't want to just print the book cover. If you're not familiar with the Armand Gamache books, it is set in a fictional town called 3 Pines. So I will always try to have like 3 pine trees in my, I don't remember if I did it on this one. I just did one on that one. But anyways, my nonfiction book for February was Nudge. Okay, I did read 2. I listened to one and read the other one. I read a second Armand Gamache book in the month of February, and it was not my favorite. It's called The Long Way Home. I do plan on coming back and doing the spread, but I got a little bit behind, so I decided to just move on to March. So here are my March stats. Not sure what I'm going to put there yet. I read 5 books. I just realized I've been increasing my book total. My favorite for this month was Wayward, and my genres that I read were mystery, magical realism. I feel like that's kind of become a favorite genre of mine. Nonfiction, and then murder mystery. And I didn't finish writing all of my reviews. I write like notes and things in a little catch-all journal as I'm reading the books. And then I refine my thoughts, choose a quote, and then I add to the spreads. So the first one is The Nature of the Beast, another Louise Penny book, the Armand Gamache series. I haven't written my notes in here yet, but the quote is, "But they both knew that words were weapons too, and when fashioned into a story, their power was almost limitless." This one was a hard read. I think that's why I haven't written my thoughts on it. Yeah. And one of the nonfiction books I read this month was Becoming by Michelle Obama. And so what I did for this one is I just chose some of my favorite quotes from her book and I typed and printed them up. These are, this one is my thoughts. Yeah, I listened to this on audiobook in her own voice, and it just felt like a warm hug every time I listened to the book. And second nonfiction book is A Ruse of Shadows. This is the last one in the Lady Sherlock series. There is one coming out this year, so I'm really anxious. This was my least favorite book in this series. As you can see, I have not put my thoughts in here yet, but this quote, "I am a queen upon this board and I do not play to lose." That is totally Charlotte Holmes, but I do enjoy this series a lot. Oh, I didn't finish this one because I first had this. So I have a book called The Wheel of the Year, and it just has a lot of different recipes and activities for each phase on the wheel. But I glued this upside down. So I feel like I would want Yule and Imbolc up top. So I have this other one that's more woodlandy anyways. So I am going to glue this on there. I'm just considering if I should cover this because I don't like these colors with these. But anyways, and I just started to write or draw some vines. And for this spread, I'm not sure, like, I have a lot of notes from the book. So I'm not sure how I'm going to put that in my spread. But and then the final, wait, was this the final book? Yes. Was that 5? Yes, it was. The final book I read in the month of March was Wayward. And wow, this is one of my favorite books now. The same friend I keep referring to. She recommended this book months ago, but I just wasn't in a headspace at the time. And then I was looking for, I listened to this one. I was looking for a new audiobook because I drive a lot for work. So I listen to a lot of books, but I also read. And this one popped up and I loved the cover. This isn't the exact cover. This is just some craft paper that I had that looked similar to the cover. The cover of the book has a crow, and then I kind of tried to replicate. It has a bird and mushroom and some insects. Oops. Because like I said, I like to create. That's part of what I enjoy about my reading journal. But the audio was phenomenal. It's a book that tells simultaneously, there's 3 perspectives, 3 different women from the same lineage across decades. So Alpha is the first Wayward we read about. Well, she's not the first one we read about in the book, but as far as timeline, she was alive in the 1600s and on trial for witchcraft. And then Violet was a descendant of Althas, and she lived in the 1940s. However, I feel like when I was reading the book, it felt her timeline and her experiences, Violet's, felt more like it was the late 1800s. So, and then the third wayward female was Kate, and she was in the more current time, I believe 2018. And it is a beautifully woven tale. There are some very difficult subject matter in the book, though, and some people felt like there weren't enough trigger warnings. There is rape and just, you know, domestic violence. Not just, I didn't mean that, but it really is a very beautifully woven and written tale. And it's about the resilience of these three women and how they come into their own power in their own unique ways. So it is a hard read for those that do not want to read books with those kinds of topics, but it is definitely one of my favorites now. Okay. And so that brings me to my April spread. And I thought I would just do this really quickly, but I spent a little long talking about them. I'm not sure. I was kind of thinking of something. Oh, actually, what if maybe I'll do a couple of layers of washi. I wanted to do the stars up at the very top. So this particular washi set also came with some fairy, some fairy washi, but I just want to focus on these butterflies for this spread. And let me see. I'm at a very odd angle where I cannot see the top of my book to get it straight. I need, oh my gosh. Oh my Lanta. I need a, oh no. Okay. I need a different setup, but I don't really know what that setup should be. Okay. There we go. So I'm thinking I was going to do stickers for the name of April, but I think I might. Oh, actually, so I wanted to use these gold stickers actually, but I'm not sure if that shows up well enough. We'll see. Now, I put this down here just as to see if I liked the actual washi tape. And I do like that particular one at the bottom. So I think it's this one here. Usually what I do when I decorate the edges of my pages is I'll put something else I don't have it handy, but something darker underneath, because it just helps me see the page edge, but I think that's pretty good. All right, then I was thinking of, well, maybe not. The reason I'm trying to stick with these, the washi tape and these little thin pieces, is just because, like I said, my reading journal has become so chunky already, and I'm only a quarter of the way through the year. That one I just used below. I also have this with the different words. All right. I want this one. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. I feel like even though this, was that part of this set? Maybe this one was not part of the set. I don't like that, this color of blue with this. I'm now thinking that these two came in a set. I guess it's all right. Just can't get this quite straight. Let's go. Okay, let me just leave that there for a minute and see how I am going to like the pieces that so this is a sticker. Oh my gosh, my glasses. I think the reason I do something like that, and then maybe this butterfly. Oh wait, let's do this actually. And then I'll put April and my monthly quote over here. And then kind of a little cluster. All right, I think that I do not want this blue. I don't want the blue stars up there. So I am going to take that off. But obviously I will use it for something else. Oh no. You know, washi is not very good at staying stuck unless you don't want it to stay stuck. All right, let's see. I have so then I'm going to use the thick butterfly tape up here. Oh, that is way off. I recently got into watching Only Murders in the Building. I've seen it, you know, advertised over the years, and I absolutely love Steve Martin Short. And I like to say it like that because it's Steve Martin and Martin Short. And so yeah, I finally started watching it, and it is really fun. It's a really fun little series to just come home and get a little bit lost in. It's not like a super heavy. I do like police procedurals and kind of heavy things like that. But lately I've just really been enjoying the lightness of Only Murders in the Building. Just finished season 2, and I'm glad that I am not like those of you, maybe if you've watched it, it's a little bit off center, but or not lined up, but that's right. They set up the next season's murder at the end of the previous season, and so luckily I've been able to just jump right in and not have to wait. And so I so wanted to watch the first episode of season 3 after I finished season 2 tonight. But then I thought, no, you know, I am going to go make a cup of coffee and sit at my desk and do a little bit in my reading journal. There we go. And then I will go to bed after this. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to like that better. Now, I guess I could have used that. All right. I think I am going to at least commit to this side because I did like how that was laid out. Oh wait, how did I have it? I had it like this, something like this. Yes. Okay. So I will put this down first because it's the biggest piece. Oh, I cut myself. I was, like I said, I was out doing a lot of yard work this evening. Oh my gosh, usually this comes off so much. There we go. So much easier. These, obviously it's a sticker, and so I got this set, and I really love the stickers themselves, but I don't like how there's these big borders. Usually when I use one of these, they're really thick cardstock stickers. I will cut around, but for this one, I think this one is fine as is. I think I used, that's from it. Oh, this one, but this one didn't have the white border, so I don't know. I don't know why some of them do and some do not. Can't remember what I used in January. I did not use one. Oh, yeah, I need to do something to this side. This side is, okay. Now, what I have noticed, even though, how did I get that so off? Even though these are really thick pages, when I use the art glitter glue, it will bubble up the other side of the page. So if I'm going to cover this with something, like a lot of them I cover with other papers, then I'm fine using the glue, but I'm not sure if I'm going to cover, which book did I already finish? Oh yeah, the Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. I'm definitely going to cover it, so I guess I can use the art glitter glue. It's easier to use than the glue stick, but when I'm not going to cover the other side, I use the glue stick. How do I want? I think I had it this way. I'm going to do it that way. Okay. another thing I love about my reading journal is I am not so concerned with preciseness. I mean, I am. I redid the washi tape a number of times, but I mean, like, I don't have to have everything perfectly secured down. Do I want to do it? And then I can put something here. Or do I want it like that and put something up there? I think that I like this, and I don't know. I think I'll do it that way. All right, and then I'll put something up there. So I started, this is my second time keeping a reading journal. I don't know how I didn't know about this. I discovered it a couple years ago, and so I kept one last year, and it's like just my thing. Married, I like to use the word married, but it combines the two things I love the most, reading and writing. So I, read my book, then I write about it, but then I also get to craft. I get to do something creative like this. And this is definitely my happy place, because I feel like it's kind of junk journaling, but also focused on reading and writing. And it has really motivated me to get back into a regular writing habit, and so I've been reading a lot more, and it's just lovely. Okay, just want to make sure I'm not going to put the April just yet. No, definitely not, because I don't like to make those kinds of decisions at night. I want to wait until the morning. But I do think I like the layout so far. Just wondering what I'll put. I mean, I have other butterfly stickers and ephemera that I can use. But what if I just cut out one of these? Yeah, this is the bigger one. I just want to see how easy this would be to cut out. Save that piece. And then, let's see. No, do not like that. Okay, I will pick a different piece of ephemera for that. Or maybe that's where I'll put my reading quote for the month. So I think that tomorrow I will finish the rest of this spread. I'm going to put these 3 here, and then April stats. I'll put it across. Yeah. And that will be the April spread, and then I can start doing my book spreads. And it is only the 4th, and I've already finished a book. Granted, I started the book at the end of March, but I always put it in the monthly spreads of when I finish the book. So anyways, I think that's it for this video. I appreciate you all stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much.